Okay, no more effing around. My inventory's organized. We're about to kill some shit. For real. Nothing like an organized killer. Oh my god, just gets me going. Here we go. Booyah. Alright. Okay, I mean business this time. This is lucky number, what, 13 this video? Yeah. No more effing around. No more screwing around. We're gonna find Ashley, we're gonna screw Ada Wong, and we're gonna go ahead and get a commendation from the president. I don't know who else. I don't know what else to do, but yeah. All good things to put on your resume, huh? So. I need to combine it with this. No, I can't combine it with that. I'll combine it with this. Great. Okay, so. I can't stop looking at Leon's hair, and I'm just like, wow, he must use a lot of conditioner in his hair. Like, it's just like, nice body. It's pretty awesome. And his hair doesn't change. Like, it's essentially the same haircut. Essentially, although his hair, like, seems to change color between games. I don't know. Between games, between movies, God knows. It's expected it took a little time. Again, are these documents in English or what? I don't know. So this gives you a little bit of backstory in terms of the Las Placas. And we'll continue on. So, yes, this part right here seems to be a well-funded cult. I mean, considering how large this castle is, I mean, I'd say they're pretty well off. This part is a little bit of one of those, like, you have to chase down the red guy. And I think he has a key on him, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just go. Let's just do it. I think that's an archer. There's another archer, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of fun, the chase, a little bit. But, intense, of course. So, I don't know, you know, I mainly use this sniper rifle, but I don't know if there's other sniper rifles that are better. I just like this one. I mean, I've upgraded it so much that at this point I'm just kind of like sticking with it, so. So that guy's dead. Let's see what we have in these areas. I think, you know, honestly, I think this game does a really good job of like kind of restocking, you know, restocking the player in terms of ammo and stuff like that, while still providing a challenge. So it's just I was being very much of a noob back then when I first played the game, as I always am. I mean, and speaking of that, I love, for example, and I know this is going to be like another rant about casting, for example, whenever I'm playing a game for the first time, which by the way, although I don't really cast a lot these days, even so, it's kind of like a rule that I set up for myself where I said I'm not really going to play a game for the first time on stream, especially if it has a story that I'm going to be invested in. Because then, you know, some genius or some jerk will of course say, oh, you know what happens at the end, blah 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 blah, and they'll spoil it just to be jerks. You know, people are like that. Not everybody's like that, but there are people that are like that, of course, and I recognize that. But that's not the only kind of thing that can ruin a first playthrough experience. It's also a matter of people sitting there and saying, oh, you shouldn't, it's the backseat gaming, you shouldn't do this, you should do that, and I'm just like, and I always wind up, my cast always winds up devolving into like an explanation of playing a game, learning a game, and experiencing the joy of learning a game and feeling fulfilled, that you're like, okay, Well, I came a long way from not knowing how to play the game to now I have a better idea of what I'm doing and what to do. And isn't that the ultimate video game experience? Isn't that the ultimate anything experience? Anything worthwhile is challenging and should be hard at first. You should have a decent sort of like learning curve to whatever it is. But I just don't understand why that ironically is a foreign concept to people who are watching a cast about a video game who are theoretically supposed to be gamers. I don't understand that. So that's like part of the reason why I'm just like, I'm not gonna bother casting any game that I don't know how to play that well, you know? And in some ways people might, and then you get the other extreme where people are just like, oh, you play the same games over and over and over again. It's like, it's one of those damned if you do and damned if you don't. It's just like, for all the demands that people make, I'm like, you would think that they're paying for the damn game that I'm playing, or they're paying for the casting software, the actual casting capture card that I'm using. And I'm just like, get over yourself. Like, there was one time, for example, I was randomly in someone's stream, and this was in Twitch. They were playing Resident Evil 2 for the first time, and they were very lost. But even, and this is, so I'm a viewer that Resident Evil 2 is my favorite game, so I know that game reasonably well. But even I didn't have the temptation to sit there and say, do this, do that, do this, do that. And I'm just like, if I know how to restrain myself, why can't other people do that? So, it's just one of those things. But even beyond all that, even beyond the people, for me, the whole streaming issue is just like, I just don't have time. For me, a stream always needs to gather momentum. You're not going to have a lot of viewers at the beginning of it, and you're not going to have a lot of viewers at the end of it. At least that's my experience. So it's just one of those things where you have to kind of cast for a while, for a few hours, and I don't have that kind of time. I really don't have that kind of time. I really don't. Between work and school and the fact that I do Let's Plays and I really enjoy them a lot. For me, honestly, at least at this particular point, and I'm always the kind of person where I'm just open-minded where I can say, I never, you never know how you're going to feel in a couple months' time or a couple years' time or whatever, whatever time frame. You never know. But I can say, for right now, I really don't have such an affinity for streaming as I did before. And it used to be that I used to stream mainly, and I really was kind of ignoring my YouTube channel. And as you can see now, it's quite the opposite. But it's just one of those things. And I don't, it's just my experience. Everybody's experience is very different. There's some people that have very positive experience or very enriching experiences with casting. And it's like, kudos to them. Very good for them. And I'm just like, I'm happy for them. And I'm just like, it's a shame because I wish I had that same experience. But I didn't. So, and not to mention, and I forgot to mention that every single time I try to cast, all of a sudden I get this like weird delay, this like strange delay, stream delay. So I'm trying to talk to people and I can't really talk to them because the stream is way behind where I'm actually at, that kind of thing. So I got this key and I can finally exit this area. It wasn't really as long of a chase as I thought it was going to be. So it's not too bad. And just a random kind of thought. There was a fan fiction. And I know I talked about this before. I love a good fan fiction. I really do. Specifically, I don't know if other people can be less picky about fan fiction, but I'm the kind of person that I have to kind of know the source material for the fan fiction in order to actually really appreciate it. So I usually will read a Resident Evil fan fiction and a Walking Dead fan fiction. That's it. But I can't like read a fan fiction for like a show or a game that I haven't really gotten into, because I won't really appreciate it as much because I won't know the characters, that kind of thing. So those are my favorites. And I mean, I like the adult ones, of course. I mean, who doesn't? It's fun. And if they're well written, very, very very involved. I mean, even better. You know what I mean? So currently, my favorite pairing, and I know it's not a really like likely pairing, just given the histories of the characters in the games, but I just love Wesker Sheva. I really do. I just love it. I can't get enough of it, and it's very, very, very interesting. And there was one particular fan fiction. I'm not gonna really name it, and I don't really like to name names. It's just kind of how I am. But there was one fan fiction that was really good, and it had Wesker Sheva, but like the author, I don't know what happened. Maybe she had an emergency or something, and she hasn't really written in a while. Okay, this guy is becoming more and more comical.
Not you, Mr. Kennedy.
If you don't need me, then get off my back, old man.
Did you say old man, Mr. Kennedy? It might come as a surprise, but I'm only 20 years old.
So you're just like all the others? A puppet of the parasites?
Surely you don't think I'm the same as those diminutive ganados. The parasites, las plagas, are slaves to my will. I have absolute control.
Well, I really don't give a damn. Rain or shine, you're going down.
Get rid of our American friend.
Or why doesn't Salazar just buy a gun and just shoot at Leon while Leon is exchanging stupid one-liners with him? Seriously. Comic book villain. I love it. I can throw all these people at Leon, but he'll just like mow through them. Oh, hello, archers. Again. Seriously. But this is what I mean about the game. It's just so awesome just kind of throwing so much at Leon. It's just this one guy, and oh my gosh. By the way, I kind of suck at shielding myself from arrows. It's just how it is. Okay. So just one of those moments. So what are my hopes and aspirations for these upcoming Resident Evil games? Revelations and most likely 7. They're gonna come out with the 7th game, I'm sure. Revelations, currently, right now, not much is really known about it. I don't know much about it, and I know there's a couple kind of pictures of kind of the locales of the game, but not much is known about it. I don't even think we know who's in it so far. I'm just saying I hope that Claire's in it. 'Cause seriously, Claire was just in like what, 2 games? Well, I always kind of think of the main games as the numbered games plus Code Veronica, and then that's it. But we know that there's other games as well, like the Chronicle games, and I know Claire's in them. But it's just like Claire really didn't have a lot of representation like Leon did. So I think she needs to be in other games as well. So I don't even know where Revelations 2 is going to take place. I just hope it's a lot better than the first Revelations game, especially with that one kind of choke point where you're playing as Jill, and I've already made a nice big rant about it, so I'm not going to go into that again, but you guys know exactly which part I'm talking about. It's about episode 3 or episode 4. It's completely ridiculous. That, to me, almost ruined the game for me. So these archers are still around, hey? Maybe it's very naive of me, but I'm still holding out hope for like kind of a nostalgic game. I mean, they can talk about Neo Umbrella all they want. It would be kind of nice to go back to Umbrella and give me a little more detail about the downfall of it. not just in that second Outbreak game. I would like that a lot. Just saying. Alright. Just gotta be a little careful about running out of my... I like how the arrow came from the front and it managed to hit Leon in the back. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So, yeah. Alright. Is this a real gun, this Red 9? Any gun aficionado can please confirm or deny. And if so, is it really reloaded like that? I mean, it looks cool. I'm always the kind of person that I love details in a game. And if you give me all day, I will tell you every single detail in every single game that I've ever played that I like. For example, I really like the reload animations in this game a lot. I just think they're awesome. I don't know. And I always like this, the kind of whole life imitating art kind of thing. Oh my gosh. You guys might be the first people to know about this, but I remember me and my cousin, and this was back circa 1998 when Resident Evil 2 came out. I mean, I was obsessed with the game, and I'm not just saying that, I really was obsessed with the game. I made everything about the game. I really did. It was to the point where, like, if I were to see myself, if the me of now were to see myself, my 1998 version, I would say, oh my gosh, this girl needs really serious help. But one of the games we used to play was we used to always try to, like, we always used to try to race each other down a hallway, but we would try to race each other while pretending like we were in caution status. No, danger status, because we were limping. So yeah, I have no idea if anybody else ever did that. I really hope I'm not the only person that did that. Please tell me I'm not. But yeah, that's the extent of my love for that game. Not even kidding. Am I done with this area? No. I think there's like one more thing I need to do here. But that's what it was. And I think what was the other thing that I did? I remember doing homework assignments and like research assignments kind of in the style of a Resident Evil game. And I know that's very hard to conceptualize, but for example, the way I would describe items, ID card, or like a file that I was trying to write up, it would be just like that. So, as a matter of fact, I gotta try to dig that out of some, like the basement. I have all these like old items. Anyway, that's the other button I was looking for. So in terms of pairings of people, oh my god, these guys are packing. Hello. Sheva Wesker. I don't know if that would be a lasting relationship, but that would be a hot one, just saying. Sheva Wesker. Chris and Joe is the obvious one, but, it's also Chris and Sheva. I think Leon and Claire. Although Leon and Claire as friends works for me as well. Like, I'm happy for that, too. Who else? Obviously Jake and Sherry. You'll see that in Resident Evil 6. I didn't press it. I thought I pressed this. That's weird. Alright. So those guys with RPGs make me a little... Oh my god. Holy cow. I like how that... They shot the rockets at the door and it didn't break this like wooden door. Or the wooden walls surrounding the door, for that matter. Boy, they didn't think that one through. We're just gonna fire one rocket each at Leon, and that's the only plan we need? I don't know. So we'll see. To me, it's just, this game came out in what, 2004, and then Resident Evil 5 came out in 2009, and it just amazes me how completely different the two games feel with respect to each other. It completely amazes me. I don't know. I just think, in my opinion, I just think Resident Evil 5, excuse me, Resident Evil in general needs to just stick to something, not care so much about competition. Well, I mean, I know competition is important. You gotta be relevant. But just come up with an interesting idea like it did before and stick with it. Something innovative, something interesting. But we'll just have to wait and see, huh? Alright. Until next time.